Sonic Frontiers, the newest entry in the Sonic franchise in 2022. As soon as the first gameplay was shown, people were ready to hop on that Sonic Frontiers was basically just Sonic in Breath of the Wild. I personally disagree with that, but there's another thing that is noticeable and not so many people really talk about. Sonic Frontiers has a lot of similarities to my personal favorite anime, Neon Genesis Evangelion. However you say it. Now, there aren't a whole lot, and some aren't as noticeable as others, but they still feel like they are ripped straight from the anime. And the first thing is the Titans. Well, actually all the Titans. They are very similar to the Evas and the Angels in the anime. Gigantro, or Gigantro, not really sure how it's pronounced, has a very similar look to that of the third Angel, Sashiel. It has broadened shoulders with its very skinny legs. Its head is also like on its chest rather than going up with a neck like a human. You can even go further and say that Gigantro looks a lot like the mass-produced Evas because of the weird like posture that it has, the weird extending head and the placement of it. Gigantro even does the weird pose that the third Angel actually does. The second Titan, Wyvron, is similar to the third Angel from the rebuild of Evangelion. Not the same third Angel that I just said looks like Gigantro, but from the movies, the rebuild. They're both these long skeleton-looking snake creatures, and there isn't really much to say. They both are basically the same thing, although Wyvron has more like legs extending out instead of just bones, but that makes it look more similar to that of the skeleton design from the third Angel in the rebuild. You can even add that Wyvron looks like Shamshell, again the weird names, when it's in that flying mode in the rebuild version, because it has the hands that extend. Then Knight, one of my favorite boss battles in the game, looks a lot like one of the Evas. He looks a lot like Eva 05 that Mario first piloted and destroyed. They both have these 4 legs with some sort of rotating device at the bottom, and the sword. The actual sword. The Eva doesn't have a shield though, so that kind of throws it off. But if you did add the mask that Sashiel wears onto the Eva 05, that's literally just Knight. Then Supreme. Whatever you say about the boss fight, you have to agree, this is literally just an Eva. It's the exact same. He has a similar design to Gigantro, also making it look like Sashiel, the third Angel, but he looks much similar to the mass-produced Evas, mostly because of their color. And they both have these wings that they use to fly. The mass-produced show them later on, and Supreme also shows that on his second phase. His head also sort of reminds me of Eva 02. They have this massive forehead. Then if you thought that was all, Supreme literally appears with wings that look exactly like Eva 01 starting the third impact. I guess you could also say that the gun he uses is the rifle they use, but it's more like the giant gun they use to defeat Ramiel. And the last boss, the End. So at the end of Sonic Frontiers, you fight the End, which is literally just a dark purple moon. What else looks like a dark purple moon? The dark moon from Evangelion. The black moon from Evangelion is used for the third impact, which basically is the end of life in Eva. So it seems fitting that the End in Sonic Frontiers looks like the black moon from Eva. These are the bosses, and their similarities to Eva. But there's also the Guardians in Sonic Frontiers. They also have some similarities. Asura has these similarities to Zerul. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Just slap another arm and give it some spikes and bam, that's just Asura. Then there's Spider, who literally is just Matarail, again the names, but just with a recolor. Then there's the biggest Eva similarity of all in Frontiers, Sage, at least her voice. She's voiced by Ryan Bartley. Ryan has worked in many other animes, but the big one here is that she voiced Rei Ayanami in the redubbed version of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Sure, Sage and Rei both want to protect someone and will do anything they are asked, but the voice, it's the same person. I think it's the greatest similarity in Frontiers, and Evangelion has. I want to see more Sonic games do more like this. I hope that the DLC that comes this year has a bit more Evangelion references. Would be cool to see. Oh, and yeah, and that these things look like Ramiel.